Hello, this is Azita.Resan. I'm going to talk about two project reviews. One is IT145 Authentication System, which is a Java file only. I need to make it like an application with pop-up interface later. And fundamentals of datamining 220, which is analyzing the Bubba Gump data in Jump. At first, I explained the code of authentication system. It creates based on it creates array based on credentials.text, and then additional values may be added directly to the code. It displays usage information for user, prompt for username. If user enters quit, exit the program. Prompt for password. If user enters quit, exit the program. And loop for no more no more than 3 user authentication attempts. So loop to determine corresponding array values for username and hash password. If username matches declared username, convert user entered password to hashed password. If hashed user entered password not found, prompt for credential reentry. If maximum attempts reached, alert user to invalid credentials and exit the program. Else, hashed user entered password is found, set user in method of new class. Determine user role in method of new class based on information from credentials.text. Call welcome method to display corresponding welcome file for role. Exit the program. So in terms of structure, some of the objects are not called, such as role or user role, and so thanks to NetBeans IDE, we know that with warning or notifications, it needs to be readable, all of these. For these that are not called, we need to make a method, another file, for example user role.java, and then add library and add the instruction to it. Our program should be readable, consistency formatted with best practices, and I need to check possible faults and coding standards, spaces, indentation, curly braces, and I will check them starting in each scope and then check it in bigger size of a scope. So start from smaller to bigger. At first, everything in Java becomes private. If it is needed, we need to make it public. There shouldn't be any empty method, for example, when we make method, it shouldn't be it should be called, or it shouldn't be empty. Then check the function and calling codes and output respectively. No empty library. For example, for user role, when I make another file, user role.java, I need to add a library to that. The most important note is that I shouldn't copy and paste because of the risk of bugs or indentation issues. Variables should be initiated. Also, they should have a good naming to remember and not confuse. Here we can see username, password, or verify. They are not used, or the name is not good. For example, for role, what does it say? Or for example, stored username is good. We know that it is stored username, and we need to use each name that we know the meaning of that, and we don't confuse with other variables. Also, I need to restructure for complex codes and functions. Start from smaller tasks, which is more manageable. A document needs to be readable with good comments starting in each block of code. For example, here populates username password array. For each block we have comments, and it is good. It doesn't need to add for each line of code one comment. It's confusing. And also, variables become readable. It needs to have a good typecasting. Get rid of non-used variables. As I said, here it's non-used. Here username, password, and verified is non-used, but we need to use it. So if totally non-used, we need to get rid of that. But here we will use it. When we edit and revise it, we will use them. So until the end of the project, we need to wait and check if there is anything not used. We need to fix it. I work on the parameters. Redundant should be removed. Arithmetic equality is not same as assigning conditions are very important. For example, here if we use equals, it's good. We don't get confused. The condition is good, but sometimes there are some points equality is confusing with assigning conditions. We need to make sure no confusing. Nesting in loop and chain, here 4 and here another 4. So all of these we need to check if there is any condition that they exit the loop without any prior information or confirmation. Also avoid infinite loop. And security is another one is security. Security is very important. We need to check out of bound and check out of bound and memory leaks, unused objects, collected values. So try surely I will do try and catch error exceptions. I need to multiple check database connection and in-depth return value. I need to check for the loops result and result of the program totally. So for another presentation of the code review, which is database analyzing, I will work on this PowerPoint, the slideshow. We can see the display of the data and interpretation. I focus on many aspects of the data mining that starts from data analysis, clustering, visualization, regression, and gaining the prediction based on internal and external validity. When I tree map the city, It shows that the most important locations that we need to focus is New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Miami, Baltimore, Gardena, Orlando, Phoenix, San Francisco, because more branches are distributed on these locations for Bubba Gump branches, restaurants. Also in the tree map by state, we can see let me go to the tree map. We can see California, New Jersey, New York, Florida, Texas, Ohio, Maryland, and are the most important focus. The distribution for for the income that we see, income is a little skewed to the right. The minimum is $23 per year, so the income is divided by 1,000 to make it easier to analyze. And the maximum is $116 per year. The most customers are between 44 to 74.75 that we need. The median is $57 and the mean is 59.8 per year. For the next one, so we use continuous factor such as age for X and the web store spend for the Y. In this figure, we can see the probability of the web spend by age is less than 50 web store spend. The one who spend more, they are mostly young people. Also, this predicted plot shows that the residuals that shows that what they are expected to be as part of the distribution. They have mostly no purchase from the web store at the different ages. For in this figure, I compared the income in the X factor and the web purchase, yes, no for the Y. Red is no purchase and blue is purchase from web store. As we can see, between 500 they had mostly no purchase in different incomes, and the effect of income on the purchase is low, but they are between $35 to $65 incomes. So for after this review, for later for this analytic, I will compare the ages and the most younger to purchase. So the ages compared to web purchase, or I will do simple linear regression analytic. Web store spends compared to income, or I compare the states, restaurant visit, web purchase, yes, no. I will compare all of them, and then I do hierarchical clustering between restaurant spend and marital status. I will do all of these. I hope you like my presentation.